Okay, here we're going to go through a Cicero build order for archers, and this should give you the very basic idea about how to do an archer's build order in Kaboom. We won't follow along exactly because the Cicero build order has some inefficiencies, but it should give you the basic idea for how to do this.
Build 2 houses, then send your first 6 villagers to sheep.
So generic start, go scout around with your sheep. One should stay underneath the TC, the other ones just sort of loop around in a circle. Your goal is just to spread out your visibility as much as possible in the first minute or so of the game.
Now send the next 4 villagers to wood.
Okay, we have 6 on food, so the next one should go to wood. Right there, looks good. Could have also built it one tile to the left, doesn't matter on the wood exactly where you place it. Still missing 2 sheep. So we'll keep exploring.
Send your next villager to lure the boar.
Try to spread out your villas on the woods so that they gather it more efficiently. We'll also need to go a little bit earlier than the build order recommended, otherwise we won't have this boar back in time.
The next 4 villagers should go to berries. Build 2 houses with the next villager.
Oh, go Vil. That Vil stopped, so it won't get back in time. It's okay, we'll just take another sheep. Just keep the Vils active. We also need to keep finding those other sheep. Okay, we can go build the mill now. 7 on boar is what you want at this point. If you have a bit on sheep, you can just take them off of boar for a second, gather there. That way your boar will run out a little bit slower. Oh, I hear the sheep.
The next 2 villagers to boar. Now use one of your villagers underneath the town center to lure the second boar.
Okay, we're about 170. We can send one more to
Also
food.
make one farm using one of the villagers from the boar.
We won't need a Dark Age farm, not if we do this ideally.
Now send the rest to wood.
Keep your villas on wood spread out and working efficiently. We will want another lumber camp though. Came in a bit late here. Not the end of the world. Make sure it gets all the way underneath the TC before you kill it. Good.
Make a second lumber camp with the next villager.
Notice the build has 8 on boar. I have 9 on boar. So that's how you can avoid the farms. You just be a bit more efficient with your eco. Okay. This will be the last fill we want. we'll be going 23
Now
pop archers.
research loom and then click feudal with 23 population.
Split your vills between 2 sheep so you can gather enough food to be able to click up. Once we have enough, we instantly want to move these to wood.
Now move more villagers to wood, so that you have 11 villagers on wood, and also move 3 villagers to gold.
Search for which villagers are nice and healthy. Those are the ones we're going to have go to gold. These ones can just keep gathering food. We need to build a barracks at this point.
Before you reach the feudal age.
We'll spread out these vills, just make them a little bit more efficient, and we'll put them on the left because that's going to be easier to quick wall. We're also going to want a house, so let's get that one prepared ahead of time. And we'll just do a little bit of a wall here, starting to wall our base a little. Keep your vills again spread out, keep them spread out, keep them efficient.
Now immediately place 2 ranges and research
Okay.
double bitettes. Send the next villagers to gold until you have 8 on gold in total.
Yep, so these will go to gold, and with these vills, once they're done with the sheep here, we'll start dropping farms. We'll also want a house, so let's get that prepared.
Now keep producing archers from both ranges. Build a blacksmith for fletching, and then research horse collar.
It's a little early to get fletching, but if the build order wants it, we can go for it. My recommendation would be usually don't get fletching this early. It's going to hurt your castle time, and we're going to see that here in a bit. That it will delay us a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. In fact, I'm going to focus on a house first. House more important than fletching right now. Usually you would want to gather these inside, so I can just go ahead and do that now.
Once you have enough villagers on gold, the next villagers should all go to farms.
Need a bit more gold in. 2 more. Build order can get somewhat tight at this point. Just adjust on the fly as necessary. We're also going to need a house. And probably 1 more on gold. Okay, so we have what we need on gold. Probably 1 extra. We don't even need this many. We can see on it for just a second with 9, just to get up, because I was a bit late to go to gold. So it's okay to readjust. And that will allow us to afford fletching. Let's just chop this tree, get it out of the way so we can have more efficient farm eco. You just want to keep getting houses coming with 1 villager. Okay, now we have 2 vills queued up, we could get fletching. Notice we didn't need to research fletching right away. We could have delayed the blacksmith a little bit, but it's okay. Just following the build order to the T.
Now research wheelbarrow and start moving villagers from your berries to make new farms.
Yep, this is about the right time to get wheelbarrow. Just fills as necessary. Keep making houses. We just want to kind of slowly wall up this area, then that area, and everything all around with houses. Food is our primary concern here. We need a bit more of it. We might need to make one or two more builds. Wasn't a perfect build order here. We should then be able to click on. Okay, so let's just idle for just a second to be able to get up. Give our villas enough time to gather the resources. And, okay, we are up. The game is complaining I don't have horse collar. You should not get horse collar in Archer's build. You get it at this point. So, the game will probably give me an F. It doesn't matter. Okay, we want to keep gathering wood. Those are probably all the farms I'll reseed at this point. You also want to get the armor technology for your archers on the way up. Like that. Those can be a bit tricky on these aspects. Just make sure it's all walled. Just kind of like that. Better to be safe than sorry. Okay, now we need to talk about TC placement right before we get up. So you're going to want 2 TCs always. Goal is to get 1 on gold, 1 on wood. So if we take a look at the base right now, we have a very natural place to want to put a TC, which is probably about right here. We could also put a TC right here. Also could put a TC probably right here. I think in this specific game, I'm probably going to favor deleting this and trying to put the TC right here. Just to be able to get this nice wood eco, have it nice and protected. The other TC we can put right here, and we'll just keep making houses over here to make up for the house we lost. So we can get this right there, and another one about right here. We also want to get bodkin and crossbow. Any idle villagers go to wood. Wood is going to be really tight right now. We want to get to this bow saw upgrade. Four villas usually build a TC. I can add one more here. And again, wood is going to be very, very tight. Know it's going to be tight and just adjust your eco as necessary. Also, make sure to keep building houses with that one bill. You'll be going through them very quickly, with 5 buildings producing. Each house gives 5 pop space, so you'll basically need constant production. Some point here, our next goals are to get to heavy plow and gold mining. A more ideal builder could have had both those already, but it's okay. We don't need to play ideally, we can play well. Make sure all the TCs are on resources. Refresh any lumber camps that are pretty far away. And try not to flood any single lumber line too much. So if you have too many on a lumber line, don't be afraid to go move it. Go take wood somewhere else. This gives us a pretty efficient farm eco. Okay, we can get gold mining. We already dropped a lot of farms in this build order, so it's not too critical to get the heavy plow upgrade right now. We can give it a second longer before getting it. If you are going to get it, try to get it as early as possible. And we can turn automatic farm reseeding, which will help out with keeping production going. Okay, so we have all of our eco upgrades we need right now. Our goal now is going to be to look towards getting up to the next stage. We're probably going to want to start collecting some stone. This will be useful for if we want to build additional TCs, just go protect resources across the map. Also useful because we're going to want castles. So we can probably add a couple TCs over here to start gathering that. Another thing we could do, add another range. This Phil's already going around for some strange reason, thanks to E, so we'll have him do it. Notice this wood line's about to run out. Oh, there we go, there's the house. So we're going to need to move these Phils here in just a moment. Also, start going to gold a little bit heavier at this point. We're going to need the gold to get up. We can probably leave that bill in there. If you have too many on wood, just go ahead and take them off wood, drop farms. Also consider dropping a market at this point, and we're going to start wanting to get the imp buildings. Okay, we can move these off of stone. That's probably enough stone miners. Probably overkilled that a little bit, but that should allow us to get a castle up here in just a moment, which is great. You want to get to 130 villagers, so keep that villager production going. If we need to, you can always just sell a bit of resources. Okay, and we're up. We need a house. This villager ran out of spots to wall.
Igen, megyek. Építkezek. Jó napot. Szolgálatára. Megyek. Építkezek. Parancs. Építkezek. Jó napot. Építkezek.
Let's keep all buildings running. Keep them going. Thumbring, great upgrade to get around this point if you're going archers. We're also going to want ballistics. Realistically, part of this army would have died by this point, so we can just go ahead and delete them. There's a hole there.
Építkezek. Építkezek. Jó napot. Építkezek.
Finish building that mining camp, please.
Parancs. Megyek. Igenis. Építkezek. Szolgálatára. Igen.
Okay, once you have the ability to build a castle, don't be afraid to build a castle inside of your eco. Just keep it nice and protected. Area you think you're going to want to keep safe. This looks like an okay spot. We want ballistics. We're also going to want to start preparing a transition here. So I'm Magyars, you could be thinking I want to go knights, so you start getting that set up. You can start teching into the technologies. We'll want to get the archer tech in a second, so we'll queue up the scout ones behind that. Okay, so we're up. You'd want to get Arbalest. You'd want to get Bracer here in just a second. Again, don't be afraid to sell, rebalance eco as necessary. You should always have a third gold. You should start moving out to that when you get a chance. Get another castle up, probably on a hill or somewhere that protects your base, and you are chilling at this point. That kind of gets you through Imp. You should have roughly the amount of villagers you want. I've had a bit of idle time here and there. If I were playing this more ideally, I could have 130 villagers. I've played it kind of sloppy. I have 111. It's not the end of the world. Again, there are other things to focus on. As you improve, this will just get better and better. I'm sure it will get better for myself as I improve too. Keep that wood eco nice and efficient. It's getting efficient here, so we can just go drop another lumber camp. And that about concludes things. At this point, you just keep going with those villagers, keep moving them around to different spots where they are making the most use. And like I said, queue up. Probably start queuing up techs for these, preparing your raids, preparing what you're going to do, your transitions. At this point, it's kind of up to however you want to adjust your game. Crop rotation, not the most important of technologies. Would recommend getting two-man saw here when you get a second. It's good technology. Will help you out a lot. That concludes pretty much the basics to how to pull off this build order. Again, this wasn't ideal. There were a lot of inefficiencies. Could have gotten that 130 vills by 30 minutes you kind of want, but it's okay to be a little bit behind at this point. We have the vill count we want now. We're in Imp. We're able to push with multiple castles. We have our transition ready. This is about where you want to be.